got some big guests on here.
Pull up.
You're more than welcome, man. To pull up to the EFS pod. But moving forward, we will get into another person who's in the NBA family.
And that you have a connection with, too.
Yeah. I wouldn't say so much right now, but, historically, we played for the same university. So, yeah, we do have experiences together as people. But we speaking about Jimmy Butler, not so positive in the news right now.
What's your take,
he's doing. Take on what specifically?
The whole 9 yards. Actually, give a profit first, then we can, because we want to talk about.
Jimmy Butler has requested a trade from the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Pat Riley's relationship has been strained at to put it lightly. And right now he's in a position to where he's waiting to find a different team. He did the interview the other day saying he basically can't get his joy back playing for the Miami Heat. He just wants to get his joy back. And says he can't do it there. To then being suspended from the team now for 7 games while they are trying to find his next destination as far as who they want to trade him to. Right before I came to pod, they said they're taking their time. They put out something that said they don't like the offers they're getting for him.
Yeah.
Because I think what Jimmy has done is like he put them in a position to where whoever is going to trade for him is going to try to give them the lowest level
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, because they're the only ones out.
They're trying to trade Jimmy for a fucking Apple cart or some shit like that.
Applebee's.
So whatever, but he ain't in the best position right now. There's a lot of different takes on it that I've seen floating around. My perspective, it goes multifold for me with Jimmy, just because we played together and we have that relationship at Marquette. To now seeing his career take off the way that it has, I wish Jimmy nothing but the best. But, from my perspective, Jimmy does have some things internally with him that I think affect his basketball career, And that's putting it as light as I can just because, Jimmy's story is kind of no secret. With the whole upbringing and him being in foster care and then, reconnected with his family, his dad and all that stuff. So his story is out there. So it's not like, that's common. It is common knowledge for a lot of people, at least in the basketball circles with him. But my perspective is that Jimmy, may have some healing to do in general,
Interesting.
as a person, and as a person.
Yeah.
And I ain't going to put too much on here, but I would say that even when I was at Marquette with Jimmy, me and him had a falling out while we was there over a situation that I'm going to keep close to the chest,
Okay.
Because, I ain't here to bash Jimmy. I ain't here to do any of that just because, I do genuinely wish him the best as a person. We blood, sweat, and tears for Marquette University. And, we tried to put on for our school in a big way. And, end of the day, that's family, Marquette family, even if we ain't close right now at this point, because he's gone his way, I've gone mine in a bunch of different, avenues and lanes of life. After we both graduated, after he was drafted and I was already overseas because I was a senior when he was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So early in my professional career, we did still connect a lot, I seen him in Chicago, we went out to kick it, that kind of stuff, but ever since then, he got really, really famous and really, really busy. And, my life went a different turn, Not to say that we wasn't, close at that point anyway, because I think our relationship had a little bit of a strain towards the end of my senior year because we kind of fell out over some shit again. And I'm going to keep close to chest. But, from there, it just started to seem like, for me, Jimmy overachieved as a basketball player because nobody was really expecting him to be perennial all-star, you're one of the best players in the league, potentially, that kind of guy. And I think that with that comes different things. But if you're not internally in a good space, then we start to see some of the things that, we might have seen with Jimmy so far.
Interesting.
So my perspective is he may have some healing to do. We do know he just lost his father.
Yep.
So I think that can
Really
be
difficult.
a big, huge loss that he's going through right now while still trying to manage being in the spotlight, and that's tough. So I'm going to give him 100% grace and just time with that because it takes time to grieve and really process all your feelings when you lose the person who was one of the people responsible for bringing you in this world. So I do think that may have a lot to do with him missing his joy right now.
That's good. That could be a layer.
But I do think keeping things in full perspective is also important when
Yep.
you are an athlete, a basketball player, and especially a player of that magnitude.
Yep.
You know, and a player who's in the twilight of his career
Yeah,
as well.
most definitely.
Because they'll get your ass out the league like quickly if
If they want to.
right. If you piss off the wrong people, they'll find a way to get your ass out the league.
Mm-hmm.
So if your goal is to still play basketball, then to me, some of the things he does can only like last so long without the powers that be being like, all right, like the whole Jay-Z still a nigga, like yeah, they gonna treat you like that because they not fucking with you at this point, you know.
But if I could segue off that,
Sure.
I just feel like sometimes, man, I gotta look at the full picture of the scenario.
No doubt. You
I feel like the Miami Heat didn't do themselves no favors here.
In what aspect?
They didn't offer him an extension of his contract.
Okay.
I feel like the dynamic of the relationship between Pat Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, Pat Riley's a 79-year-old stubborn white guy.
For sure.
And he doesn't care to extend the olive branch. You got to either come to him. He wants to be, quote unquote, the alpha in every situation.
No, it's Pat Riley's team.
That's his mentality.
Organization.
It's right, organizationally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's his mentality. And if you buck, he wants to make an example out of you, which to me makes me feel it's just it's a bad taste in my mouth. I'll just say that. In the dynamic of ownership and athlete and sports and what it represents and means to be the owner of a team, which means that you technically are the owner of the players' contracts.
Sure.
It's just a lot of dynamics that I always look at this whole thing and I go, he doesn't care about you as a human being, which I do think that when you have something like that, when you have a loss in your life and you go to your job and you feel like the people there don't care about you as a human, you don't matter to them unless you are going to play the ball and shut up and dribble. I can understand why Jimmy's like, oh, this is how y'all gonna treat me? Fine. Get me out of here. I don't want to be here because you don't even care about who I am and what I'm dealing with. You only care about, am I going to put the ball in the hoop at the time you want me to put it in there? And if I don't do that, you're going to try to, sandbag me, suspend me, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying that there isn't layers where Jimmy could have handled himself differently. There's accountability on both ends, but I feel like Miami, the Heat organization, isn't in the interest of looking out for the human side of their player in this, especially when he's a franchise player, took you to the finals 2 times. He's done a great deal of effort he hasn't been slouching. He isn't like he hasn't been doing his job.
That's fair.
But it's like literally like going to work every single day, being a top performer and doing everything you're supposed to do. And they say, we're not going to give you a raise this year. And we just heard about your situation in your life. And we ain't going to send no car, no nothing to you. We don't care. Just let me know when you come in back to work. That's what it feels like from my perspective. I'm just looking at outside looking in.
Yeah, I'm in like
I got a response to that, but I'll let you talk. Go ahead, Drew.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm kind of like a mixture of both. I think obviously as someone who has lost their dad, it changes you a lot. It changes you a lot in different ways. It makes you question a lot of stuff about yourself as a man. And like you said, especially like growing up, in foster, like you don't have that like foundation relationship initially. So when you start to build it later,
it hurts.
It is difficult. And I had I wasn't in foster care, but I had a similar issue with my father being hospitalized so much to where I didn't have a relationship the way that I wanted to. And when he passed, it was hard because he was in decent health to where he was like coherent and I could talk to him. So it was hard. So I think that definitely plays a role for sure. But I also think too, like you got like 2 alphas like Pat Riley and him that are very strong-minded, stuck in their ways, and it's great when y'all are on the same page, but when you're not on the same page is when it can become colossal. And I think, like, I don't know Jimmy Butler at all, but like, some of the stuff to put in perspective is like when you have that kind of, like when you grow up in foster care and, your father passes recently, like, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too. Like when you just don't like some shit, there's sometimes where you're fed up to the point where you're like, I don't give a fuck. But like you cannot change my mind on this. And I feel like that's where he's at right now, and that's where Pat Riley is now. And I think with Jimmy probably going through foster care. Like that's probably his defense mechanism is to run when he feels like he's overstayed his welcome. And I think for him, he has a right to be hurt in some senses because, like you said, like his catalog with the Heat is like kind of stamped given like the talent he's had. He didn't have LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh. The teams he took to the finals, he damn near took, I ain't gonna say single-handedly, but pretty damn close to it. Like Bam was rising when they got there. He wasn't what he is now. So I think he had a right to say what he said initially when he was like, oh, well, if the Celtics, and that was him just jawing around with his friends too. It wasn't like he was like on a camera. Like I know it was his friend's camera, but still, I think Pat Riley mistook it, and I think Jimmy Butler is self-aware enough to know he was injured and he didn't really have a right to say it. But Pat, I don't know. It's a variety of things that goes into it, but I can see Jimmy Butler's track record just as a fan and be like when he like is fed up with some shit,
he checks out.
Yeah, he's done it. He's done it. He wants to move on, and that probably stems back from
He
like
checks out
some instabilities that you may have had, and it's like I don't know. I get where he's coming from because I'm like that too with some things. Obviously not to this level, but like when you feel like you've overstayed your welcome and people don't want you there after you felt like you went so hard for them, like yeah, you want to leave. I don't want to be around you. I've given you enough. It's not enough. Like I feel like he should be stamped in terms of being able to say some outlandish shit here and there, like revolved around what he said about the Celtics series. I don't think that warrants your GM to be like, shut the fuck up. Basically saying, shut the fuck up, you were injured. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's accomplished too much for the Heat, in my opinion, to just have some shit like thrown off the cuff like that.
that is a fact, but, and this is back to what Walter was saying.
Right.
Dwayne Wade,
Mm-hmm.
Alonzo Mourning,
Mm-hmm.
Udonis Haslem. When I say those three names, what do you think?
I think Jimmy Butler's in that category
As far as what?
as far as what he's done for the Heat in
Legacy-
terms of winning.
players
Right.
from the Heat. Yeah, like
Yeah.
True. But why isn't it connecting then? Because Dwayne Wade, Udonis Haslem, and Alonzo Mourning will always be good in Miami forever.
I think Jimmy's good in
And
Miami.
Alonzo Mourning and Udonis Haslem, if you want to say what they've done for the organization, ain't even a percentage of what Jimmy and D-Wade have accomplished
I
for
agree.
the Heat.
Yeah.
I agree with
2
that.
finals appearances for Jimmy, championships for D-Wade.
Yeah.
So
Zoe got one too.
as far as winning, yes, and so too. Sorry, but Udonis Haslem, glue guy who's in the organization. But even Alonzo,
He's a
Mourning.
Miami guy too, though.
Facts.
I think
This
I
is
think
true.
The reason why it doesn't connect, though, you asked the question, is because there is no ring.
I don't even think that.
I think it's the reason because Jimmy didn't get the ring.
I don't think that. From what I know of Pat Riley, and this is from accounts from people who've been around him, know him, and understand who he is, like a few people I know in the league that know Pat Riley and speak about Pat.
Yeah.
Pat is Pat. He's going to lead with Pat from the jump. Like, here's what it is. Miami Heat culture is Miami Heat culture for a reason, and that's because of Pat Riley.
Yep.
And to say that Pat Riley is in a position where he just don't give a fuck about Jimmy like that, to say, like, I'm the boss and you just show up to work, et cetera, I'm not going to go as far to say that, but I do think that for some time now, Jimmy has been a Heat player, but he does not really exude Heat culture, if that makes sense.
I don't. What?
I think on the court he does. Off
On
the
what
court,
grounds?
yeah, he has some antics and things that maybe aren't like the best
As
way to go
far
about things
as-
that probably do trigger Pat Riley for sure.
Exactly, because Pat Riley is a
Yeah,
no-games
he's a
type of
no-nonsense
individual.
person.
Like a no-nonsense
like
kind
And Jimmy
of
likes
person.
to troll,
when he does
play
the trolling
around.
thing, when he does
So
the emo
all that
hair,
shit,
all
that shit from jump is like excess attention that Pat Riley is like, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
Keep the main thing the main thing. Keep the main thing the main
Yeah.
thing. And I'm not even mad at Pat Riley saying, bro, you was hurt, shut the fuck up, in a nicer way in the media and all that
Yeah.
other shit, because, bro, you was hurt. Keep it quiet, because now you're involving our organization in negative conversations off of something that you're doing outside of
I
the
can't-
team.
I can't get behind that though,
As far as, like, why not?
because like I do this all the time in work as a boss. You do not counsel in public. You counsel in private.
Who's to say he didn't counsel in private?
No, but he put it out in the media. That was a media.
Yeah, but
sound
Because
bite.
he was asked about it
I know, but
directly from the media.
I know, but you can.
So
When I'm in those moments, like we can have this discussion, but we can without then the public isn't going to know the outside of, you know what I mean.
and
of
even what he said in the media wasn't even that bad to me. If you
I
read
don't
between the
know. I
lines,
don't
then
know.
yeah. But when you say something to the effect of, well, Jimmy wasn't playing because he was injured, so I think Jimmy should be quiet. Like, that's something, like, that's more so what he said.
He said keep your mouth shut.
Or keep your mouth shut, yeah.
Which is like
So it's like,
And I don't.
it's
I'm
neither
still
here
from
nor
the
there.
era
It's
of.
neither here nor there.
I'm still from the era of like tough love in a sense. Like
Yeah.
But you
it's
don't
not
do
to say
it
that you're
in public. That's my only issue. You could have did the
when
same
you're dealing
exact
with
thing.
a public individual, and now I got to be answering questions off of some shit that you did that I probably don't want to have to answer, but I have to sit here doing the exit interview for the season because we just lost in the playoffs, and I'm still pissed the fuck off that we lost in the playoffs. Then yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit perturbed that one of my players was doing something after we lost in the playoffs that is detrimental to the culture in general. You know,
That's fair.
and I think it's not. I'm not saying that Jimmy didn't have a right to go out and have a drink, didn't have a right to jump on camera and say what he said. Like, sure, like if that's how you feel, standing behind it. I've been in a situation where, damn, if I was out there, shit would have been a little bit different. You know, I know what that feels like, so I get that feeling. But I also get when the person who is responsible for the organization in general say, hey, that might not have been the best look. And if he said it in a way that was a little mean,
Yeah.
bro, you're an NBA player. Like, Buzz Williams has talked to Jimmy way worse than that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not while he's making all that money though.
Right.
That's when it gets.
Exactly.
I know, and that's the generation.
Which is why
we're
I
in.
went back to the point
was
of
it was
Alonzo
that-
Mourning, Dwayne Wade, and Udonis Haslam.
But Buzz
Yeah.
wasn't talking
Different
in
character
the media either, though,
individuals.
was he?
Who? Buzz would say shit about us in the media, and we sat there and ate it.
But what did he say about Jimmy Butler specifically?
I mean, I
That
would
you
have to
remember?
go back
Yeah,
into the
I know, that's what I'm
records,
saying.
but like I know Buzz and I know Buzz to the core. Like Buzz ain't gonna treat you the best verbally when he's trying to get a point across.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I
So
just
if you
feel like
are a
it's
person who comes from that culture and comes from that cloth, then you understand that I bet like maybe I should have just shut the fuck up and not said that.
I
shit,
get it, but I
you know. But again, when it comes to success, some level of ego, and now
Yeah, I
I'm
hear that.
this person,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can't talk to me like that, or I'm gonna check out.
I don't think
like that is where
I don't think it's a me thing, like him direct. I think it's more like, yo, I did all this for this organization, and this is the animosity I get over one line.
Sure.
That's
True.
that's probably like how I would view it.
But how you respond to that line
yeah, you
also
should be able to get past it for
changes
sure.
things.
You should be
I
able to get
think
past it.
that is
I
one
hear that. I hear
issue
that.
that sparked everything, I think, in the offseason.
That's where the alpha
Coming at a time
personalities
when,
come in, though.
from what we've seen, this is right around the time when his father might have started going through health issues and all that shit. So all the combination of those things
Yeah.
does make you not process emotions or
Right.
makes you process emotions differently.
Differently.
So I will say that I think all of that might be a like mixture in the pot of all of this, but I don't think Pat Riley's wrong for saying like, bro, like you wasn't out there, so just don't speak on it, you know, or
Yeah.
just keep your mouth shut. So from there to then still having injury issues to where you can't play, and it's not the first time Jimmy had injury issues as a Miami Heat player.
Yeah.
So coming into a situation to where it's your contract year, you're not in the best position with the team because y'all didn't win, you was
I get the
injured,
contract
et cetera, et cetera. No, I'm not giving you a fucking extension. That's just business.
Because you're getting
I
older.
don't
You're getting a
know.
little older too.
But
So I
here's
get that.
You're getting older. That's
haven't
just
we
business.
always
So if-
operated from you put your dues in and you do your part and we'll extend you out based off of the
yes,
years
but that also goes to what I said last week about the relationships that you create with people who are responsible for your quote unquote success or financial, like, you know, if you're not putting yourself in the best light for someone you're about to ask for a check from, then for me, it's like you can't be mad if you don't get the check. Or you can be mad, but just understand that, you know, it might be a situation where you got to go get the check somewhere else.
It's business
Like,
first.
it's business first for Pat Riley until he feels like you have bought into the culture enough to say, I bet, like, you one of us now, so you good, you know? And winning for the team is one thing. There's been a lot of stories about people in the league who've done great things on the court, and then in the locker rooms, we looking like, this motherfucker's a piece of shit, or nobody around here fucked with him like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Jimmy's in that position, but I'm just saying, if you've done those kind of things for a team, why hasn't it connected to where you get that on the back end? Klay Thompson, shit, we just talked about Klay.
But again, that's another excuse. Like, to me, it's not about that no more. I think these I keep saying this, these billionaires don't care about you. They don't care. Because Klay, you can't tell me he didn't buy into Golden State culture.
No doubt.
You can't tell me he hasn't been there for the team.
But Klay
you can't tell me he
also-
doesn't shoot the lights out still. You can't tell me he's still not a valuable asset to the team, and they still shitted on him. And I'm just saying, in terms of where Jimmy's at, I'm not even saying that Jimmy is not more problematic than Klay. I'll even give you that.
He's easily
But-
more problematic than
But
Klay.
they still treated Klay like that. So what you think they're gonna do to Jimmy? I feel like as soon as you get to a certain year or age, if you're not LeBron James, they're not giving you an extension.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you know that,
But what I'm saying
then
is,
keep it cute
Keep
until
it-
you
keep
get
it
your
cute
check.
is crazy.
Like
Keep it
keep
cute
it
is
cute
crazy.
until you get your check, and then from there, like do what you got to do.
Nah, I
So
say
I'm not saying Jimmy doesn't have a right to feel whatever he feels.
Yeah.
The
Right,
therapists
no,
always
most
tell
definitely.
you feelings are valid.
Most
So
definitely.
whatever he's going through to feel the way he feels, to where he does not have joy playing for the Miami Heat organization, to me, like, and maybe my expectations and ego and all that stuff isn't that high. I'm not a multimillionaire, so I don't know what it's like to be in a position where I don't think he should talk to me like that because I'm this person. Like, so
Yeah.
I operate from a perspective of treat everyone the same
Yeah.
and just like keep it humble and keep it like, again, keep it solid with everyone.
Yeah.
So that's just me. If I'm living in Miami, as much as I love being in fucking Miami, if I'm living in Miami, doing well in Miami, and playing for an organization that has that kind of like cachet within the league, and just like, I'm keeping it cute. Like
keeping it cute is
Yeah.
crazy.
But I,
word.
the taxes in Florida is very forgiving.
I just
Like-
feel like he earned the right to say what he said. Talking about Jimmy Butler, he earned the right to say what he said, and I think Pat Riley earned the right to say what he said too. But when you have two alpha personalities that take things personal, rightfully so, we all do. That's where it gets sticky.
I mean,
But we
that's-
wanna-
let's see where Miami
But
lands.
as
in the
a
playoffs.
fan though, like I want to see him thrive wherever. I would love to see him go back
and
to
they're
Philly.
not playing that
But-
bad.
no,
Literally,
they're not.
They're
You
above
want him in
500.
Philly, don't you?
Yeah,
You
I would
want
love
him
to
in
see him
Philly.
come back.
He thought he never should have left Philly.
Never,
Tobias
bro.
Harris is his
literally the
fucking-
one that got
yeah.
away, bro. Like to this day, I say it to him all the time, every year. The first game he played in Philly, coming back from Miami, we were there.
Yeah, we was there.
Like it was heartbreaking.
there.
Like I loved his game. I loved his grit. It fit the city. The trolling stuff even fit a little bit. But I want to
don't
see him
even
thrive
mind
wherever he
so
is.
much the
yeah.
trolling. Like the trolling is like, dude, you want to be emo Jimmy? Cool.
Yeah,
like I know,
that's fine.
like some people just like that attention,
Yeah.
and that is what it is.
But let's forget.
I
Let's
don't
not
think-
forget. Basketball is a game. You're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see stiff robots on the court. I want to
Yeah.
see people who are animated.
That's why I like
have
him.
energy.
Because, like
and
even the Tobias
right.
Harris over, like I was like, you're fucking right, you asshole. Like you are right. Like as a Philly fan, I was like, yeah, we all fucking felt it and thought it. He said it. You know what I mean?
All I'm saying is, if you are a Chicago, like, because he played with D Rose too. Going back to the whole D Rose thing, he was
Yeah.
there with D Rose early in his career.
Mhm.
You know, I remember getting my ass smacked in the chest by fucking Joakim Noah when we was out partying one night and being like, "Oh, this motherfucker's hands is big and heavy as hell. Like this nigga almost broke my fucking clavicle or whatever you can call me. From how hard he smacked me and just like gave me love.
What's up,
Just-
man?
Yeah, exactly. That type of shit. Heavy ass hand, smack me in the middle of the chest in the club. Yo, pop, boom, and smack me in my shit. And this is going back to because Joe Kim played for the same AAU team as me, so we had a little bit of a prior rapport then. But then when he see me with Jimmy, and he was fucking with Jimmy, that was his man. He was just so like much giving love to everybody that was with Jimmy. Yo, smack me in my chest. So I do remember those days early on, and who Jimmy was then to who Jimmy is now.
Right.
And I'm not saying that with success doesn't come a different person.
Yeah.
I just do think that certain people's success changes the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think that there may be some of that with him.
Okay.
You know?
That's fair.
And again, I'm being
What you
100%
land?
respectful because I'm not a hater. Like even after we fell out and he went on to have his success, I was that's Marquette. Like that's
Yeah,
fam.
We used to always talk about it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Always
saying?
talk about like, look how good he's doing and stuff. I remember you used to tell
Exactly.
me.
And this is before we even know this was going to be a topic. Like
Right.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with this nigga, a lot of people like about like Jimmy and how happy I'm seeing him be
Most
who
definitely.
he is. Everybody I play with in Marquette. Steve Novak, happy for him. Fucking Wesley Matthews, my dog still, happy for him. Like anybody who achieved that level of success from like my family tree as far as the basketball like thing, and this is going back to even high school.
Yep.
Like Lance Thomas when I played with him, Corey Stokes when I played. Anytime anybody I play with that we like shared the same like blood, sweat, and tears again for a team. Like I want to see you do good things and be successful. Like that's
Right.
just me to the core,
Right.
Yeah.
But I also am real enough to say like some people be changing a little bit,
Facts.
Mhm.
And from my perspective, as Jimmy's ascended, I think that the person disconnects from some people, and I think we see that in some of the way his career is gone. Like literally, like again, you in Chicago, you go to Minnesota, you unhappy out there, you force your way off the team, literally, like make yourself that much of a like disruption that you're like, I'm out of here. Like we haven't seen much like that in the league. The way that whole situation went. And everyone's like, oh, Jimmy's just a real one. Jimmy's just a real one, whatever. And yeah, Jimmy is a real one in a lot of ways. But when you are the disruptor in the big cog of everything,
team dynamic,
they're gonna get rid of your ass at some point if you're too much of a distraction. So my thing is just be mindful because your time might be running out when you, again, on the latter half of your career, and then you're still being the disruption that, you know, isn't necessarily good for the culture of the organization that you're playing for.
Margin for error is shrinking.
Yeah. So for me, that's it. And, you know, hopefully he can go somewhere, play, because I still think he offers value to a team.
Yeah, I think
you
he should go.
Some of my niggas say he should be going to Phoenix. Like
Philly, bro.
What about Lakers? How about them?
It depends on who gets him. The Heat not going to take a stick of bubble gum and fucking, like, they want value for Jimmy.
I say we give him Max Christie and maybe what?
You got to go a lot heavier.
You got to go Rui, Christie, Vanderbilt, probably Austin Reeves.
Yeah, nah, we ain't giving up AR-15. We keep AR.
Then you're not getting Jimmy.
Nah, we keep AR. We don't give him.
You're not getting the person that took us to 2 finals and now wants out. Like,
nah, well, hold on. Let me get. We'll give him. Who else? Who else is available?
The Lakers are the kings of giving away nothing for something.
And then
like
still
as
being
of late.
trash.
Yes, yes, all the time.
Bronny James. We'll give him a good Bronny James.
You want to talk about another nigga you want to piss off and he going to lose his joy as soon as you trade Bronny James? Yeah. Yeah, nah, that's never
hopefully, like you said, hopefully he ends up somewhere productive.
Bronny James in Miami.
I hope he does, man, because again, I wish Jimmy nothing but the best in his life as a person. I wish him happiness, success, all that. I just hate to see people disrupt their way out of the bag. And sometimes you got a bag enough to where it's like, fuck it. I don't like the money ain't the issue.
Yeah.
James Harden, I was saying the same thing about him when he was Daryl Morey's a liar, whatever. And if Daryl Morey's a liar, then he's a liar. Call it out if you feel that strong about it. But for me, it don't always go well when you disrupt the fuck out of like organizations to where the word carries around the league. We've seen we getting you out of here.
Yep.
You know, you're blackballed in the league. Nobody's picking you up. Go play overseas. Like that kind of shit.
Seeing what we need to see.
You know,
that's what happened with Dwight Howard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened with DeMarcus Cousins too.
They get a lot. Exactly. DeMarcus Cousins
John Wall.
was a like perennial all-star talent player.
Yeah.
Like, and he's playing in the Philippines or whatever the fuck he was both playing roles for.
Taiwan.
Like, yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, they'll get your ass out of there if you do not like follow suit. And I think sometimes egos get in the way to where it's like, shit ain't that big of a deal.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You're making too much money, and it's not to say money is everything, because again, personal life does matter, and your personal, like who you are as a core also matters. So I'm not saying that money is the key to everything, but you're making too much money to play a game with millions of people watching you, and it don't always got to be that deep. Sometimes you're just going through a rough patch, stick it out, stay with the organization, and then you'll see success on the other side. Every day ain't going to be sunshine and rainbows. Look at fucking Kobe. How many times Kobe wanted to leave the Lakers?
Yep. Wanted to get traded to the Bulls at one point.
Stuck it out. Stayed.
AI almost
because I'm sure if Kobe wanted to force his hand and get the fuck off the Lakers, he could have followed through with that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Same with Iverson the first go around.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Great players want to leave at some point if they don't feel like the organization is suiting them. After 2 finals in the past 5-6 years,
4 or 5 years.
Where you going after I've been all these other places in the league? Like,
that's fair.
Where you going?
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
You're just going to be ship jumping and chip chasing and all that shit. You build something good there, stick it out, and then just play ball. You know? But again,
it takes 2 to tango,
it's
man.
above my pay grade, so I don't,
above my pay grade is crazy.
But, you know.
I'm excited to see what
best
happens.
Best to everybody. I'm assuming trade is coming at some point, so we'll see how that lands. But, you know, that's just my perspective. And again, with the prior, you know, relationship and history, I have a different perspective on all of it. So, you know, that's that.